Hey, this is Joel with the Traveler Toolkit. Thanks for joining me for another video. Today, we're going to be taking a look at the Fiido Titan Fat Tire e-bike. This thing claims to be the ultimate outdoor bike. So that means hunting, camping, fishing. Take this with you. It's got an extended range of almost 250 miles with 3 battery packs. And with 1 battery pack, you can get up to 85 miles in a single charge. It's got racks, it's got a torque sensor, it's got fenders, it's got a great braking system. What more could you ask for, right? Well, don't go anywhere because we'll be putting it to the test to see if it lives up to all that hype. Let's go ahead and jump on the Titan. Let's take it out for a test drive, and we'll be testing the range, the acceleration, the different modes, the shock, the ride, the comfort, and the overall riding experience. So let's get to that right now. All right, so let's jump into a test ride of the Fiido Titan. Right now I am in normal mode, but if I want to switch that, I can do so over here on this handlebar or right here and just go up or down. In my testing, normal mode is for pretty chill riding. We've got it in center gear, so about 5, and we'll just take off with the throttle to start. Wow, for normal mode, that takes off super fast. Yeah, I can reach 20 miles an hour without even thinking about it. Just super quick in normal mode. Let's go over this hill. I'm pedaling now. Oh, I needed a little help there. Whenever I need help, I'm just using my throttle over here. I could also shift down 1. Going through some thick grass here. Super smooth and maneuverable on this rough terrain here. We've got a lot of soggy ground. We'll go right through these trees here. Yeah, I mean, I haven't even stood up off the seat yet. Trying to simulate what we would see if we were going hunting or camping, just trying to get away from everything. You'd have to climb some hills like this. You'd have to go through some bogs. And brakes are just as important as speed. And these brakes seem to hold up well going downhill. Got some wet ground here. Power's right through it. I mean, I'm in normal mode and it's hard to hold this thing back. If you pull down on the throttle, it just takes off. There's a lot of power. Feel the brakes on this are really good. Stopping going down a hill. Gonna shift up. There we go. Handles really well on gravel. These fat tires really do their thing. Crazy. Brake test coming down the hill here. Yeah, it just feels like you can zip almost anywhere on this thing. Let's jump across this ditch here. There we go, straight up this hill. I mean, we're climbing steep hills and I'm still on the seat. I stood off the seat a couple times. It's really comfortable. It's got a wide stance. The handlebars give you a lot of stability. All right, so I'm gonna go straight down this ridiculous hill we have here, and then we're gonna come up it so we can see how it handles coming up this hill. This is a crazy scenario though. This would be really in the backwoods. You're stuck. You gotta climb a hill like this, and we're at a complete stop right now. So there's the hill. Let's do it. We got it in Turbo Plus. We're geared down. Let's do it. Well, that throttle gives me a nice jump. Oh my gosh, this is so easy. I'm standing up, but I don't have to put in a lot of effort. Wow, it's kind of effortless. Climb, nice shocks, get to the little part of the hill. I mean, that hill climb was absolutely nothing. I'm gonna gear up for a little bit of speed testing here on a straightaway. Let's see what kind of speed we can get up to. Yeah, doing about 20. Yeah, and it's handling the bumps really well at 20 miles an hour. I'm actually gonna go down to just a sport mode because turbo might be too much. All right, here we go. Let's hit some trails. Geared down just a little bit. These trails are gonna be gnarly right now, but we got the bike to handle it. Oh yeah. It's more about control on the brakes when you're on a trail like this than it is speed or power. Here we go. Climbing straight up. No problem. Look at how tall the grass is right now. Super tall. I mean, we're in like 3-4 foot tall grass and we're just plowing through it like it's nothing. It's no problem. There we go. No problem. The suspension is really showing up on this thing. Really impressed with that. Good combo of power and capability. There we go. We're back. Hey, if you're still watching this video, then that probably means you're gonna love the other videos we put out every single week right here on this channel. So go ahead, hit the subscribe button below so you're notified every time we put out new content. You don't wanna miss a thing. RV and camping and the outdoors, all right here on the Traveler Toolkit. All right, so since this bike has a lot of awesome features, I'm gonna go ahead and grab the camera and show them to you up close. All right, so let's start our walking tour around this bike with the handlebars, because this is the key component that you're going to be holding on to and operating this bike. We'll start over here on the left-hand side, and I'll point out that these grips are really comfy. I don't know if you can see this in the video, but they actually have some give to them, some squish. So not only is it a really tacky exterior, but the interior has some squish to it, which make them really comfortable. And I like that pattern that they offer. They've got a mechanical bell right here, and they also have an electronic bell. It's not very loud. Comes out of the center console. And right under the horn button, you've got this button that says M. It changes the screen over here, the mode of the screen. So if we hit M, we can go back and forth between the overall stats on the bike, the battery level, so forth, and back to the speedometer and your mode. This bottom section here is going to be your mode. You also have the same M button right here. You can switch on the dash or on the handlebar. Then you have this button, which switches between your riding modes. Right now we're in Turbo Plus, but if we hit this, we can go down to no assistance, eco assistance, normal assistance, sport, turbo, and Turbo Plus. And obviously those are just varying levels of assistance that the torque sensor and the battery are going to give you. Then one last button here on the left, we have our headlight button. We hit this and we can turn our headlight on and off. Really nice to have right here at your fingertips. And then the last thing I'll mention is this brake system. 4-piston brake system. It's extremely responsive. So we've got disc brakes right up front. I'll show you those in a little bit, but very responsive brake system on the left and right side. Then on the right-hand side, of course, we have the same handlebar and brake system, but we also have our gears. So this is a funny little gear set. Here's your gear indicator up here. You can see 1, 5, and 9, and that's all the numbers you have on this gear set. But down below are the shifters. Now this is shift down, this is shift up, and I found it a little difficult to get to the shift up dial, and this is your throttle here. I don't like that the throttle is so prominent because it can be easily hit, and if you're standing here and you happen to put your hand on this, it can shoot the bike forward. But these are a little difficult to get used to, but honestly, with a bike this powerful, you don't need to shift as much. So these are your shifters. We'll test those out later. And this is your throttle. Simply pull down with your thumb. I don't want to do it now because it's on. Then around the front, we can take a look at these big, beautiful, gorgeous wheels. These are 26x4s. They don't have the traditional spokes. They have these large, I believe they're some sort of alloy metal spokes. You can see the giant disc on the other side. These disc brakes are not messing around. There's the actual braking component there, running up the hydraulic line. Really, really substantial. And front and back, you have these fenders. They are plastic, not metal. I think I prefer that just because of corrosion. Then you have tunable, adjustable suspension right here on the front. So you can tune and adjust it right up here, lock and unlock on this side. And then on the other side is where you could actually tune that. And then this big chunky part of the frame here is where your battery lives. I don't love this plastic cover for the battery. It feels a little flimsy at times. It's just kind of hanging on there. I mean, the battery is seated in there, but look at how this just kind of hangs. If I press in this button and pull this down, then this little door comes off and you can see your battery inside. You can remove that and swap those out for charging or for extended mileage. Like we said, almost 250 miles if you have 3 of them, 84 miles I believe it's rated for with just one. But I wish this door was a little more substantial than just kind of a somewhat flimsy piece of plastic. But it's okay. And you can stick it back on there, slide that back up, it locks in. But you kind of see this just wants to hang here like this. No big deal as long as it stays put. So then moving backwards, we can see here is the torque sensor. This is a really important part of this bike. This is your charging port. You can plug in right there to charge, but this is gonna make pedaling a lot easier. Then obviously you have your gear set and your pedals down here. I don't know much about this gear set. I'm not a bike expert, but I do know it does shift nice and smooth, and it's a really high quality riding experience. And we'll skip talking about the tires, wheels, fenders, and brakes on the back because we already talked about them in the front. But it does have this nice rack on the back, extendable rack. It's got a bamboo center, and you can mount all sorts of things on here. We have a saddlebag that can be mounted there. It also houses your brake light, so that whenever you pull on the brake, this illuminates. That's an important safety feature if you're anywhere near a road. And then finally, we have this Velo seat, really comfortable out of the box. I feel like a lot of these e-bikes, I just want to replace the seat first thing. This one is actually pretty comfortable. So a big wide seat that goes along with the bike. Quick adjust here, take that off, go up and down, adjust it, and some more mounting brackets right here in the middle. But overall, I think the components of this bike are really well put together. It's a nice match, and it's also a very friendly user experience for somebody who's new to e-bikes. It's not hard to operate. All right, let's debrief real quickly because that was a lot of riding. We did some riding through tall grass, short grass, dirt, mud, water. We did everything you could think, uphills, downhills, gravel, and it taught me a lot about the capabilities of this bike. And the first thing I'll say is that it's got the power and the ruggedness to go just about anywhere. I would put these up against some of your really expensive hunting e-bikes. We went through grass that was probably 3.5, 4 feet tall back there, and it handled it all extremely well. This torque sensor probably has a lot to do with that. It was also a really comfortable ride. For a hardtail, it doesn't have any rear suspension. It seemed to handle really well over bumps. It's probably because these big fat tires absorbed a lot of that. I had this tuned pretty loose in the front just so I could get a feel for, how much absorption we could get over the rough terrain. But I was really impressed with the power and comfort of the ride on uneven terrain, rough surfaces. That's really what I wanted to test because I want want people who are looking at this bike to take it out in the woods, take it camping, load it up. It can hold up to 450 pounds. It's got racks. You can get saddlebags for it. You can put a rack up front. We got a lot of that stuff, but I'm more interested in the performance than the accessories. And overall, it performed really well. As far as range goes, we rode most of the day today and also a previous day a couple days ago, so I let it sit in between. We now have 78 miles on the odometer, and we have just a little bit of battery left. I mean, not much at all, 1 bar. So I'd say we're really close to that 85 miles that they promise. I think we're probably gonna get over 80 miles before we tap out on this battery. So stick 3 of those together, you get almost 250 miles of range. That's really impressive because it feels like you can take this out, play with it, run around all day for several days in a row, let it sit there and still not need to charge. So that exceeded expectations because I honestly thought cranking it up to the higher modes, going faster up and down hills, it would drain that battery faster and we might get maybe 2/3 of the promised capacity, but we're gonna get very close to the number that they promised. And finally, I wanna talk about operatability and just general ease of use. I feel like this screen in the center is a little undersized. I wish it was a little brighter and a little larger, or even if it was just something that was maybe two-tone, easier to see. I've seen some modern e-bikes going back away from a color screen to a more two-tone so you can see it in bright lights, and I think this screen is just a little undersized. For such a great bike, the screen leaves a lot to be desired. The navigation I also find to be a little difficult to use because the one button I want to use on my handlebar, switching between modes, going from like eco to normal, sport, turbo, turbo plus, it's at the top near the headlight. I wish it was all the way at the bottom. That's where my thumb sits when I'm on this handlebar. It wants to touch that bottom button. All these buttons are a little small. They're not raised enough for me. So it's hard to tell what I'm on without looking down and possibly crashing. So I wish that button for the different modes of assist was on the bottom versus, you know, button number 3 out of 4 toward the top. So that's my only nitpick, is that it's not super easy to see the screen and it's not super easy to switch between modes because I don't want to sit here and push these up arrows in the center console while I'm riding. I'd rather do that from my handlebar. So thanks for joining me for another great video here on the Traveler Toolkit, where we're all about RVing, camping, and the outdoors. Make sure you subscribe for more videos just like this. If you're interested in the Fiido Titan, I'll leave a link in the description below. You can check it out for yourself. As always, my name is Joel. This is the Traveler Toolkit, and I'll see you in the next video.